Hey, greetings. I wanted to send a little kind of Christmas video and talk a little bit about Advent and about Christmas and give you a activity to explain this piece of paper, graph paper in the letter, and as a way to look back on the year. First, some thoughts on Advent for you. My own experience and my experience of meeting with clients during Advent is that often, yeah, probably maybe even always, we life gives us these experiences that really unite us with with the season of Advent, the season of longing, the season of waiting for justice, waiting for shalom, waiting for the day when all will be made well. And it seems the days get shorter and colder here in the northern hemisphere. And that seems to kind of like that happens in our life too. And so, yeah, I had um like a really frustrating situation with my insurance company this last week that have been real gifts, actually, gifts to first to join with the Holy Family in their journey to Bethlehem, their journey to, you can imagine being 9 months pregnant. And that, I think it's like a 90-mile trip. Can you just imagine how just difficult that was for Mary? And then so you can imagine if you're a man, how hard that would have been for Joseph, wanting to take care of his wife and not be able to find a place for her. And just how difficult all that had to have been. And and so our struggles during the season kind of unite us with them and their struggles. And this is one of the ways that I've always found comfort in this time. And that is that I realize that, yeah, these things that I'm experiencing, my clients experience these very same things. The people I've been called to serve experience these very same things. It's like the situation with the insurance. Yeah, the people I serve deal with unjust bureaucracies that really disrupt their plans. Yeah. And so you might look at some of the things that some of your Advent gifts and see how they unite you to the Holy Family, you to those that you have been called to, and stir up in you that longing for Jesus to come and to realize that he deigns to be born in a cave, in a barn among dumb beasts and as a powerless babe. And so he will condescend. He will enter into the lowest parts of us in our life. There's nothing in us. There's nothing in our life that he cannot enter into, that he cannot be born into. And so Advent first is that as a gift to reassure us of the Savior's love for us. And it also stirs in us a longing for him to return in glory, to return as the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings, and to make all things well. And so I was really struck by the song this Christmas, Joy to the World. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness and wonders of his love. And Advent is a time to wait for that, to long for that, and to pray for that. So my hope is that as you have the sort of desolation of Advent, you'll also experience the consolation of Christmas and the time between that leads to theophany, leads to the time when we remember Jesus' baptism and another beginning in his life, the beginning of his ministry, and the hearing from the Father, "This is my Son, in whom I am welcome." And so those are some thoughts for Advent and Christmas and Theophany to share with you. As always, if anything there isn't for you, you just let the Spirit float away, and whatever is for you, I pray that you'll receive it. Okay, so let me now talk about this piece of paper and a little activity to bring all this together. This is an idea that I had, which I think might be really so to try. And so I'm drawing from one of the things I find myself using often is this grief recovery method with clients, and also some forgiveness skills stuff. And one of the activities in this grief recovery method is you make a loss chart. It's a really nice activity. But the idea is you'll take this piece of graph, but I want to apply it to the year. Okay. I invite you to do. So you take this piece of graph paper and you'll just fold it in half, and then you can fold it in half again, like that. Maybe, quarter it out like this. Okay. And then you can just stick in your pocket and work on it just as you'd like to. And then when you fold it out, you've got 8 squares, right? Okay. And so you want to start with, January 1st on one side, then you write December 31st on the other side. And then you'll use the bottom half of the sheet to record some of the real low moments of the year. And you'll use the top half to record some of the real high moments of the year. Okay. And so just begin by just pausing and composing yourself before God. Composing yourself in God's secure love for you as you are. Composing yourself in the world as you've chosen in your freedom to experience it, and just compose yourself. Gather your thoughts and then reflect. Just think back on the year. What was the highest and the lowest moment of the year? And whatever the answer is, it could be any part of your life, just go ahead and count up 10 squares or down 10 squares and mark that as a 10 in whatever quarter it happened in. Okay? For the highest and the lowest. And then go back and look back over your stuff from this year. So that is probably going to be maybe like your credit card statements, where you spent money, the emails and messages that you've sent, the social media posts that you made, your photo reel, your drives with all of the content that you created this year, your calendar. If you have a fitness app, take a look at your fitness for the year. And just, you don't need to get into the nitty-gritty of this, but just kind of take a look back over the year and pick just, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 things from each quarter that were highs and lows of the year. And so then you'll just mark them out on the sheet, just kind of where they happened, and rate them between 1 to 10. This is all very subjective. You probably want to spend maybe an hour or 2 on this, maybe over a couple of days. You're not trying to create an exhaustive thing. You're just trying to get a snapshot of the year. And then what I want to invite you to do with that snapshot is to write a lament. Okay, write a lament. You'll have some highs and some lows from the year, and some things to turn to the Lord in gratitude for, and turn to the Lord in lament for. And then just offer a prayer of gratitude, offer a prayer of lament for the year. And see how that helps you to bring the year to a close. And then what I want to invite you to do is to think about the year ahead in just a prayerful, hopeful, generous spirit kind of way. And less about making a whole lot of goals and New Year's resolutions and those kinds of things that we don't tend to keep. But more of a just asking yourself, like, when you look back over last year, what are some things that you want to keep? What are some things you want to stop? What are some things you want to start? What do you want to be different, better, more when you get to this point next year? And then write that down as a prayer and as an intention. For myself, what I'll do with that then is I am thinking about the year ahead in 3 big blocks: the spring, the summer, and the fall. And each of those blocks has like 4 blocks of 4 weeks within it, and then an extra week. And then at the end of the year, there's an extra 2 weeks. So I'll take those intentions, those prayers, those longings, the things I want to keep, I want to start, I want to stop, and I'll think about them in just the core areas of my life: my home, my office, my core relationships. I'll think about it in terms of my health, my well-being, my spiritual life, finances, how I manage my time, these sort of categories, the things that really matter the most. And I'll lay out my rhythm. How did the week and the weekend go? And I'll create some goals and some projects, not a lot, but some things that, like, if these few things shifted over the next year, that would be a really good. I hope that makes sense to you. And I hope that that gives you a little bit of direction that might be a blessing to you